Hello folks, Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another Legacy video. Today's video is sponsored by Philip P, who wanted to see some Grixis Stiflenought in action. And, well, I play a lot of bad deck lists on this channel, if I'm being honest. But the deck list that was submitted here was so bad that I didn't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. So we're going to take a look at the original deck list, and then we're going to see how I'm going to try to salvage it. The deck list I was playing was quite admittedly just unplayable. Like, this would have been an 05 league. So looking at the original real quick, the idea is that you can use either Dress Down or Stifle to create a Phyrexian Dreadnought ahead of curve without going and sacrificing anything to its ability. But when you start looking at this deck, like, it's not gonna fucking work. I just like can't be kind about this list and be honest. So if you look at this mana base, there's 4 Urza Saga, an island, and 2 Wastelands in the Kroxa deck, which wants to get black, black, red, red in order to escape this from the graveyard for the times where you don't have Stifle or Dress Down. That's not going to happen. Just like mathematically speaking, that is not going to happen. There are 5 actual lands in the deck that produce mana going towards Kroxa's cost. Like, this deck is awful. There are 7 cards here that don't cast the majority of your turn 1 plays. There's this Urza's Saga package of a couple Mishra's Baubles and Pyrite Spell Bombs. Like, this deck would have pooped all over itself. Like, look at how many of these lands are not actually going to go and cast the cantrips, which are supposed to tie blue decks together. Like, Kroxa is not a legacy playable card in the first place, and if you want to do Kroxa and a mana base that looks like this, like, you're just gonna trip all over yourself and die. I know, because I've tried in the past. And, like, Urza's Saga does not have great synergy with the rest of the deck outside of the Phyrexian Dreadnought. Urza's Saga is great when you can play it, and then you have 2 mana to activate it on turn 2, so that on turn 2 and turn 3, you can go and make double constructs on your way out, and we don't really have many other artifacts to grow this. This was one of the worst piles that was ever submitted to me. So, I tried to fix it. I tried. I don't think I succeeded. I still think we're going to do poorly this league, but let's take a look at what I did. And let's get these all on screen here. So, the first thing was I had to pick a lane. I could either be an Urza Saga deck, or I could be a Kroxa deck. And I don't think either one of the ideas is particularly good in this shell. So I went very, 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 very begrudgingly with the Kroxa side of the equation. And the first thing I did was smooth out the mana base. I don't think if you want to have Kroxa in your deck that you get to play any colorless lands. Not even one. I don't think you get Wastelands, so I don't think you get to play the both Stifle and Wasteland game if you want to play Kroxa. I just think that's a starting point. And the next thing I did was kind of lean into the Dragon Rage Channeler a little bit. So Dragon Rage Channeler is a really powerful card because of the Surveil. So this is just a, Delver quality threat that can also fuel our Kroxas so that we can actually escape them. Or it can also just dig towards whatever piece of the combo we are missing, whether that's a Stifle or Dress Down or a Phyrexian Dreadnought. I also added 1 Ragavan. I wanted more. Like, I wanted to play a playset of this card, but I don't think that works. Ragavan is good when you can use removal spells like Lightning Bolts and such to get the opposing creatures out of the way, and then Ragavan just goes and spirals out of control. I wanted to have one just as an additional turn 1 play, and something that can create treasure tokens to help me, actually cast my cards. Uh, but I just don't think this is a viable legacy strategy in these colors. Like, if you want to be in Bant and you, like, can play Uro, which is a reasonable card on its own, that's fine, but Kroxa is not a reasonable card on its own, and I think we're going to, like, still trip all over ourselves this league, even with the changes that I've made. Like, I have smoothed it out a lot from this, I think. Like, I've made it to the point where I feel like my cards are going to be castable, and I have more of a solidified plan, but, like, what do we do when our opponent plays a turn 1 Delver? And the answer is die to it, because we don't have removal. Like, we can dress down and, like, trade one of our own bodies with it, but our bodies should be better than the opposing bodies. I just don't think this is going to be good. And in order to try to make the Kroxa work in the mana base, you kind of have to play a Badlands, which does not cast the cantrips and the stifles and such. But, like, the mana is so bad for this card that you kind of have to do something like that. As far as the sideboard goes, I put together a reasonable set of cards. I didn't even show the original sideboard on screen because, well, it was sketch. I do think that this second Abrade should probably be another Meltdown, but Card Hoarder was out of them, and Abrade could be better because it gives you another additional Lightning Bolt effect to just get opposing creatures out of the way. Okay, that was a long deck tech, but, like, I needed to say what I had to say, and I think it is so important for anyone who wants to be a brewer in Legacy to understand that bad mana means your deck sucks. Like, you can try to do a meme thing, but if you are trying to do a meme thing and you have a bad mana base, you are just going to have an absolutely miserable time because you're playing worse cards than average than what you should be playing in the format, and you're doing it with a suboptimal mana base that just causes you to trip over itself in the first place. So let's see what we can do with the Grixis Stiflenought list. Throw me your thoughts in comments. I need them today. Okay, round 1, I've kept my opening hand here. The big question is, do I want to lead on Stifle? I believe the answer is no. I think I want to get value off of this Dragon Rage Channeler. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab a Volcanic Island here. And jam. Opponent is a fan of the stream. I can get rid of my upkeep stop, I think. That was there from when I was messing around with a Mystic Forge deck. Alright. So this may end up getting Swords to Plowshare in my upkeep, yeah. I think I Force a Will this and pitch Stifle. We can find another way to put an instant into the graveyard pretty easily. Ooh. So I think I just want to put that on top. Like, doing that is totally fine because it fuels the Dragon Rage Channeler that's currently in play, but I'd rather just get 2 sets of triggers. Okay, Kroxa goes to graveyard. That's where we want that card. And Dress Down, I do not currently want that. That can go into graveyard. Now we're working with a 3/3. Play Bobble this turn, and then get rid of some of this other stuff too. Just continue to fuel Kroxa. Yes. Will not shuffle my library. I'll play Mishra's Bobble. Let's just get rid of that. Then get rid of this. Take a look at what's going on over there. I see a plains. I can't even make the mistake of not attacking. Card's good. Lets you know what to do with it. Oh, Force of Will is, like, exactly the sort of card I want when I have 6 power on board. Yeah, you can have Jitte. I will take the creature out. Oh, this is good. Really good. Alright, Kroxa can go to the graveyard. Brainstorm is okay. Send it to the graveyard. Yep. I think I just take flyers here. Take a Flicker Wisp, counter a Flicker Wisp, and call that that. Right, can't even make a mistake with this card. Just hit him. Alright. So there's a Flicker Wisp, which I will just force a will. And now I get to Surveil again. Scalding Tarn. I've gotten the GG. GG. Daze. That card is quite broken. Yes, it is. I think I probably would have kept the Daze there. So what do I have for DNT? Plague Engineers, Braids, and Lightning Bolts. A good portion of my strategy just sucks against my opponent's deck because of their, like, Flicker Wisp effects and Caracas. So I really want to just win with Dragon Rage Channeler over basically everything else. Like, I probably need to board out this card just as a starting point. And then the Ragavan on the draw is pretty questionable. I don't think I get to enough mana to actually melt down. I need to trim one of those. I think I'm stuck on playing these. I just like don't have enough finishers without them. Maybe trim some dazes on the draw. Okay, let's see how the hand for game 2 lines up. Awkwardly, this probably has to be a mulligan. The Underground Sea doesn't cast Dragon Rage Channeler. This was a Ponder. I would keep this, but I think if I get Brainstorm locked, I just lose. I will keep this one. We have Dressnot, Dress down into Dreadnought, which is fine. But this hand is definitely underpowered. My opponent has gone to 5, though. Plains pass. Do I want to ponder and expose a land to Wasteland? Honestly, I think not. I think I just want to pass the turn here. Lightning Bolt, a Stoneforge or equivalent that's put into play. Thalia is the thing that punishes me for not pondering. Alright, Stoneforge is fine. Getting Batterskull. Okay. I will go ahead and take that out. Goodbye, Stoneforge. Right, I'm just going to pass the turn. I'm kind of hoping that my opponent doesn't have Thalia. I want to play Dress Down in the end step, and then play a Dreadnought. Alright, here we go. Draw a card, it's a bauble. Stifle is not really what I'm looking for. Let's start with a Ponder. See if I can find a Force of Will. A Dragon Rage Channeler is a fine draw. I'm happy enough with that. So, go ahead and fetch an Underground Sea. So this gets me Dreadnought. And because of the Dress Down, I don't have to sacrifice it. We have officially gotten the yikes from the opponent. I think I just want to convert this into another card immediately. I'll miss out on Surveil here, but I think that's fine. I see a Plains. Sure. Nothing to worry about here, winky face. Oh wow, they didn't have Swords to Plowshares. That's so incredibly good for me. Cannot overstate how important it is for me that they did not have an answer to my creature there. Well, they had it here. That's fine, that's happening. I will go ahead and take a shuffle off of that. And then we're hoping a Dragon Rage Channeler can just go all the way. I don't think I want that next turn. Graveyard that. Sacrifice this. See a Wasteland, which I probably end up stifling. When it goes to 17. Alright, I draw a card. A new land is totally fine. I don't know. Now that I drew that land, I probably don't stifle the Wasteland. I think I just let that happen. There's Kroxa to think about, though. Sanctum Prelate would go on 1, which is a problem. Okay. I'll take that out. Get to Surveil. I don't think I want that Thoughtseize anymore. Especially now that I'm potentially losing Underground Sea. Oh, wow. I made it to my second main phase, or sorry, my first main phase with this Underground Sea intact, in which case I'm going to just pre-combat use this mana. And Surveil. I will gladly draw that. Very, very gladly. You're going to try to Spirit of the Labyrinth me, and I have the Lightning Bolt. Get savaged. Yeah. Yeah. That was gross. The Dreadnought will go down to the bottom here. Not going to want that. And I know I don't have a Brainstorm coming. I'm just going to go ahead and play Underground Sea out here. Now, opponent's Vial is at 3. This is the point where they can start doing cute things. Oh no. They're out of gas. That is not where you want to be as the Delver player. This puts my opponent to 8. Play Delta purely so I can fetch the Dreadnought off the top of my deck because it's a dead draw currently. I mean, we just won this one because my opponent ran out of gas. Like, I answered 3 cards, and then that was it. GG's. Dragon Rage Channeler looking hot. Okay, round 2, I have something that I guess I'm supposed to keep, but I'm, like, really not happy about this hand. It just, like, does not have a plan. Plan is die to Ragavan, because we don't have removal spells in our deck. Okay, cool. Alright. Should have been on the play. Or we fight Monkey with Monkey. Okay. Monkey fight. Now my opponent goes land Lightning Bolt, and I'm sad. Brainstorm is fine. Brainstorm is not something that removes Ragavan. Oh. Monkey trade. I think Monkey trade. Like, I don't have removal spells in my deck. My opponent does. My opponent might not have another land either. Okay, they do. That's fine. I think I'm obligated to daze a threat here. So let's bounce our Volcanic Island and take that line. Okay. Good stuff. Another daze is sick. I will go ahead and just ponder here. No. I don't want to spend my time spinning my wheels. I just want to find relevant cards. That's a relevant card. That's fantastic. Very happy with that. I also have 3 types in the graveyard already. Okay, my opponent has basics. Dashed Ragavan. Sure. Alright, I'm just gonna go ahead and take this damage here. People dash Ragavan so much more than I expect them to. My opponent will ponder. I think I get it. Oh, that needs to get dazed. Need to stop that shenanigans. Like, now my opponent has 2 lands, again, priced into Ragavan for the next turn cycle. Whereas they had just played it out. That would not be the case. Alright. I'm behind on mana, which is a huge problem here. Yep. Take 2 here. Go to 16. Opponent found a Dragon Rage Channeler. Yep. I'm just in trouble because I don't have removal spells in my deck here. Like, my opponent hitting my Dragon Rage Channeler is just so bad. Yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna try to save this Brainstorm for a little bit. The Dragon Rage Channeler hasn't, metaphorically flipped yet. So that gives me the opportunity to, like, wait because I'm only taking 3 damage a turn. Now, I'm gonna fetch and Brainstorm and hope to find some combination of cards that does something relevant. This shit is not it. Nice Kroxa. Yikes. I am probably going to be dead before I can do Dress Down plus Kroxa. I think those 2 cards have to go back. Which sucks. Like, maybe I can keep the Dress Down. Oh, I'm getting stifled. Not getting stifled. I think I just need to stay on these colors. Ponder. Nope. Yikes. I am so dead. Opponent's got a Brainstorm on top. Oh, Kroxa came back. Wonderful. Alright. All F6 here, and my opponent can do their worst. Their Dragon Rage Channeler has instant creature land, and this will be sorcery. So I'm going to take 3 from that this turn, 5 total from Ragavan. And then if my opponent finds a Lightning Bolt worth of damage from somewhere else, I just die next turn. Burrow at least, like, gains you life and draws you cards. Kroxa, like, my opponent's at 18. This, like, discard and such is not... It's not doing it. Alright, there's Ragavan. I get wasted. I'll take 5, and at this point, I'm ready to go ahead and concede. Alright, now we can board in cards that should have been in my deck in game 1. Lightning Bolts. And then I probably do this stuff too. I don't know if I want Flusters or Pyroblasts. Okay. What am I doing regarding my life? Kroxa is bad, but Kroxa is a 6/6. This is just so much more work and mana than my opponent's Murktide Regents. I don't think I get to Thoughtseize. I think those cards go out first. Dress Down is expensive. Kroxa sucks. Kroxa sucks again? I just need to go down 1 Force of Will here. Like, I might just be forced to keep some big bodies in so that I have something that can trump my opponent's creatures. I will keep this hand. My opponent also has basics and I don't because I'm in 3 colors and they're in 2. I just feel like my opponent is advantaged at basically every stage of this game. Let's ponder. I don't think I can take 2 of these cards. The Daze is nice, but I just can't take 2 of these. Ragavan is great. A turn late, but better late than never here. My opponent gets Ragavan on the draw, but it's gonna feel like they're on the play because they have access to it on turn 1. I don't. That's Ragavan. Got a Dreadnought for later. That's good news. Let's try to Lightning Bolt this. Alright, success. I think I want to just play out the Ragavan. It's possible that's not correct because it plays into Daze, but I don't see myself easily being able to hold up the dash mana and still do the things that I want to be doing. My opponent just has Lightning Bolt on top of their deck. Rough. Alright, opponent has Scalding Tarn. I don't have a monkey. Now my opponent can try to get on board. Delver. Okay, I can abrade that. This Mishra's Bauble thing. What's on top? A new Delver. Alright. I'm very far behind. This helps a bit. But, like, I have less removal than my opponent. I have fewer threats than my opponent. I have clunkier cards than my opponent. I have to get pretty lucky here to win. My opponent flipping Stifle is no big deal, though. Now Ragavan gets bounced to hand. Sure. Alright, so let's play Dragon Rage Channeler. Opponent says, could have stifled the dash trigger. Guess that would have been neat. Agreed. Not sure if worth the treasure, though. They agree it's probably not, but it's a cool interaction. Alright, I have 5 card types in graveyard. That's the good news. Ragavan is indeed sweet. Alright, let's do this whole surveil thing. This is very good if Delver doesn't flip, and it's also fine versus Ragavan. Go ahead and put that on the top. Yeah. New Dragon Rage Channeler might just be better than Plague Engineer, though. Yeah, I'm gonna take a second Dragon Rage Channeler here. A little awkward against this Wasteland. That is what it is. Oh, I have Badlands. That's why this card is here. Alright. I've got 2 3/3s. Opponent's Delver does not flip. Probably a land or a creature from my opponent. Okay. -1 Dragon Rage Channeler. Into 2 mana. 2 blue mana at that. Ah, shit. Yeah, that's better than a Kroxa. Think of the fucking devil. Card sucks. Sure don't draw a card off this. Sure can't get this out. Better just... Alright. Over it. Oh, now I just have to fucking attack Dragon Rage Channeler into Murktide Regent too. Yeah, I'm dead. I'm already on the scoreboard. I won 1 round already. There have been at least some successes. No Delver flip again. And honestly, the creature is just horrifying at this point. Actually, I probably am just dead. Even if I make a Dreadnought, I just get clocked by Murktide Regent before I can actually do anything. I'm gonna throw in the towel here. I'm not getting through this one. GG's. Okay, I think this is round 3 now. Opening hand looks pretty great. Multiple different ways I can play this hand, kind of depending on what my opponent leads on. Alright, Island, Ponder. Sure. So that's no shuffle there. Okay. I think I just want to lead on Ragavan on turn 1, now that I have the ability to protect it via Daze. And if I need to Daze something on my opponent's turn, I really want to be able to have the Ragavan hit next turn. Alright, there is a prismatic ending. Yuck. Yeah. We're gonna lose the Ragavan. We'll still have a backup threat and technically also Kroxa. But the fact that like this doesn't get dazed and removes Ragavan is rough. Alright, new threat time. Is there any world where I do Kroxa? No, I don't think so. I think I just play Underground Sea and a Dragon Rage Channeler. And I will probably just fire off a Brainstorm at some point on my opponent's turn, just to like get the graveyard cooking and start surveilling. So I'm gonna have 1, 2, 3 types once I fire off Brainstorm. Stoneforge does not get dazed. Let's Brainstorm in response to that, because I don't have removal spells in this deck. That can go into the graveyard. Okay, Thoughtseize could get the piece of equipment. That's totally legit. Let's put back 1 Brainstorm and hide the Thoughtseize on top of my library temporarily. See which equipment my opponent has. I presume it's Batterskull. Oh no, it's just Sword of Fire and Ice. So I'll play this. Thoughtseize you. I'll get to Surveil. That Brainstorm can go away. I just want to fuel the graveyard for Kroxa. Fuck me. Oh my god. Well, this is awful. Well, I guess I'm taking the Batterskull. But this is yuck. Like my opponent just has a pile of reasonable Magic cards. I don't think I can beat them. Sure, you've picked up on it, but I have a very negative opinion of this deck. I just don't think what this deck is doing is at all reasonable by Legacy standards. I guess I work towards this whole Kroxa thing, and I get bad lands here, so that any land that I draw can be working towards the ability to bring it back, and then I have a 6/6, which should theoretically clock my opponent pretty quickly. Goodbye to Plague Engineer. Alright. Like the Kroxa works against Daze. Land is great for my opponent. I can Daze this and prevent the Stoneforge from getting in with Jitte counters this turn. I guess I just like... They still have such good plays if I Daze this. Like, I still just get, like, Prismatic Endinged this turn. Fine. I mean, this game is lost already, unfortunately. Like, Kroxa probably gets outpaced by Sword of Fire and Ice plus Jitte. Yeah. So I take 1, my opponent gets 2 Jitte counters. Alright. Get a little deeper here. I mean, doesn't really do that much good in the face of what my opponent has. Put that into graveyard. I need something stupid sized. Other Prismatic Ending coming too. Yikes. Yeah, I'm not going to win this game. I'll look. I don't think I'm in the position to take this card. Well, yes. Go like 1, 2. Thoughtseize my opponent. Surveil away the Force of Will. Take the sword. And then ponder. And I'll junk this card as well. And I can try to find the 4th land for Kroxa. Nope. I want to naturally draw that land. Well, I get a few more looks. Okay, that can go on top. That's fine. Sack this. Send in the Dragon Rage Channeler. Alright. Bobbles let me refuel a bit. that. Yep, I'll take one. And then Jete triggers. Opponent can start picking off my threats here if they want, or they can just hold the counters. Yep. Night, sweet prince. I knew thee well. Like, this Dreadnought is just gonna suck against Prismatic Ending as well. So is Kroxa, for that matter. Ugh. Alright. Well. One. Can't do that. Black. Or no, that one has to be red. 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 Black. Black. I'll get this Kroxa. Alright. My opponent junks a Snapcaster. And that's my turn. About to lose the Kroxa. Bye, Kroxa. Daze doesn't really help me here. I'll take one. Yeah, cool. I just... Now my Stifle shenanigans are off. Okay. I probably don't beat that. Like, this combination of cards that's on board. I'm going to take one more draw and concede. Like, Teferi just means that even the dress down type stuff doesn't really get there because they can just bounce me. Yeah. Oh, my opponent just minused for no reason. I don't know that that's correct. Yep. Teferi beats us very handily here. I'm going to go ahead and concede. Alright, so what do we want for some sort of Esper Stoneblade? Probably like, yeah. Something of this nature. Kroxa sucks more than normal. Due to white removal that just exiles, I probably have to get rid of all the copies of this card. Stifle sucks more than normal because of opposing Teferi, but I might not be able to board it out because Mising Fetch Lands is good, and I still just need to attempt to win the game. Like, I'm boarding out 3 threats. Probably need to board down one of those. Ugh. Yeah, I think I have to go down on these all the way, and maybe down one of those. And then when I'm on the draw, I'll take like maybe the dress downs and Force of Wills back in. Alright, I would like to play first. And doesn't really work. Put a mulligan it. Guess I'm keeping this hand. Just plays Dragon Rage Channeler with Force of Will back up. And it's just a question of, do I want to keep the Lightning Bolt or the Dreadnought? So much work to play a Dreadnought and then just have it removed, but I probably need the redundant threat. I'm not even sure if I will protect a Dragon Rage Channeler if my opponent removes it, because it might be more important to just to protect the Dreadnought later. I just don't see this first threat going the whole way. Oh, that's wild. Okay. Well, guess I'll remove that. I'll Lightning Bolt. I will pay your tax. And then let's see if we can bin something. We can. 2 types in graveyard. I'm not swole yet. That's a new Esper Sentinel. Sure. Oh, opponent kept a Landlight hand. Cool. So I'll cast a Bobble. We'll go ahead and pay for that. Surveil. That land can go directly into the graveyard. I have put 2 Volcanic Islands there now, so that is something to watch out for. I have instant and land in there. I can put artifact in there. I think that means I don't attack this turn. And I just kind of hold back. This Surveil engine is valuable right now. Ooh, Stifle is sick. It can either be a threat with Dreadnought, or it can just tag a fetch land. Yeah, that's fine. I think it turns into a threat. I'll take 1 and go to 18, and then produce Phyrexian Dreadnought. With multiple spells as backup. I'll go for the Stifle here. Yeah, you get a card this time. I can't prevent it this time. And then my opponent is just gonna, like, pay 1 mana to answer this twice, and I'll die. Alright, opponent is fetching. And they're fetching again. If I just see something like Teferi, that's not bad. I can just daze that and still have Force of Will. Yeah. Now, Unfortunately, my opponent does get to draw a card out of this. My opponent has presumably just so many removal cards in their deck. But like we're hoping to 2-turn my opponent. That's the sort of thing I need here. I'm gonna play out the fetch because I do have a brainstorm, and there's some worlds where I don't end up pitching it. All right, you're at 5. All right, land into a new Teferi. I will counter that. This time I can pay the tax. Yes. Bit. All right. Our threat requires multiple cards in order to be good. This is the price. Okay, and now we're probably at the point where I've just lost this game again unless I top deck another Stifle or Dress Down. And Brainstorm's okay. No, I cannot afford to play this. I need to get Dreadnought back down this turn. These cards aren't it. So I'll fetch. Yes. Kroxas are in the board. Grab Volk. And I need to take out this Teferi. It just shuts off too much of my potential game. That like leaves this, and I still have just huge problems. All right, island from the opponent. Fetching to 3. Maybe that was my out, was just like hope my opponent fetches and bolt their face. Okay. Well, I think that realistically puts me on a 1-turn clock before I am just actually dead. I can draw a braid here. Alright, I'm done with this one. GG's. Alright. I'll keep my opening hand. We get to look like Delver for a little while. Here we go. Alright, Prismatic Vista. Just kind of immediately that has me thinking about something like Miracles. Could be Show and Tell as well. So my biggest question is going to be like whether or not I play the Dragon Rage Channeler on turn 1, or whether I play the Thoughtseize on turn 1. Force of Will makes me much more likely to just want to jam Dragon Rage Channeler on 1. I need Volcanic Island, though. Awkwardly, I need to use this fetch rather than saving it for the Brainstorm. Because I need to be able to play Dragon Rage Channeler, and I also need to be able to daze, and I can't do daze off Badlands. Ooh, that's an unfair card. Alright. We are looking at Show and Tell around a daze here. Force and pitch this Brainstorm. I'll get to Surveil. That can go into the graveyard. Oh, is it just gonna work? It straight up just worked. Hot damn. Alright. That was unexpected. So let's Thoughtseize my opponent. And I will be dumping that into the graveyard. Basically, I'm going to be dumping everything into the graveyard here. Okay, I need to get rid of Solve the Equation here. That just searches for another Show and Tell. And then I'm hitting. Little Dragon Rage Channeler that could. So I have Sorcery Instant Land in graveyard. Alright, opponent passes. I expect to see a Cunning Wish at my end step. I just cast this. I could just cast this, and then I have a 4th type in graveyard, and I get to hit for 3. Is that better than holding for Stifle? Probably not. I think I will clock faster if I find a Stifle or Dress Down. Yeah, let's just hit for 1 here. Alright, opponent goes to 17, and now I'll see end step Cunning Wish. But we will not see end step Cunning Wish. Oh, it looks like my opponent is just going to pass the turn. Alright. Stay the course here. And just kind of hope that my opponent plays conservatively for a while, because I have nothing going on. Alright. There's a Lotus Petal. Okay. Looks like opponent is going to just kind of wait me out here. Makes my days worse. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I needed this. Alright. I Surveil. This other Dragon Rage Channeler goes to the graveyard, and that grows the first one into a 3/3. Ragavan. Give up on the Dreadnought? Giving up on the Dreadnought's not bad. Alright, how do I ponder this turn? So I can ponder with 2 or 3 mana remaining. Let's assume Daze is dead. And let's get rid of this land. Then I'll go ahead and fetch. I think just blue producing lands are fine here. I'll start with Mishra's Bauble. That just surveils. It gets me deeper. It lets me know whether or not I'm looking at a Stifle. I don't want Daze. Now I will ponder a new Dragon Rage Channeler. At this point, do I just accept that? No, I think I want to find a Stifle and attempt to kill next turn. Throw that into the graveyard. God, Dress Down is not what I want. Like, I want Stifle specifically because of the amount of mana that I have. I guess I accept this set of cards, though. So go Ponder, then Dress Down, then Thoughtseize. Will not shuffle my library. As long as Ragavan resolves, I can Thoughtseize off my treasure token. This seems fine. Alright. Send in for 5. It'll put my opponent to 11. Ragavan triggers. There's Prismatic Vista. Now, Ragavan is a cast. Just confirm. Yes, Ragavan is a cast. Let's sacrifice this. Sure. Now let's Thoughtseize my opponent. The Dress Down can stay on top. Woohoo! That Orm's Chant is really awkward for me, huh? Probably next turn need to like cast Phyrexian Dreadnought, hold priority, do the thing. Do they have like Cunning Wish for Intuition for Show and Tell? I think I just take the Cunning Wish here and call it a turn. It would be pretty hilarious if I get to remove a Grizzlebrand using a Dress Down. Oh no. They really just top Show and Tell? That's rough. Oh, okay, they're just resolving a solved the equation. Actually, because they have City of Traders, that's gross. Okay, so they get Omniscience Grizzlebrand this turn. I will put in this Ragavan, and then I'm going to try to use Dress Down as a combat trick to kill a Grizzlebrand. My opponent does draw the cards. Alright. Ooh. What do I have for this archetype? Not much. Blusters and Pyroblasts. I can consider Surgical Extractions to try to counter something and then extract it. Yeah. The less mana efficient something is, the more likely I am to need to remove it in this matchup. Like, I don't know that I can ever tap out for a Kroxa, for example. Just because then I'm not holding up counterspells, so I think I need to do this. Okay, I will keep this hand. When it has mulliganed once, twice. At this point, I probably just hold up Stifle rather than play Dragon Rage Channeler on turn 1. Okay, yeah, with my opponent on 5, I think I'm just going to go ahead and pass the turn. Lotus Petal is a thing. And a Brainstorm. I will daze that. Float a blue. Cast. Turn this. This just feels like my opponent trying to grab a land. Ah, that's fine. I'm going to hold up Stifle. My opponent still can't cantrip. Like, Plains does not cantrip. Trust me, I am very aware that Plains does not cantrip. Nice. Now we'll go Volcanic Island, Dragon Rage Channeler. Start doing the whole Surveil thing. I can just go to the graveyard. And we are going to look at the top card of their library. Either I get to know what that card is, or I get to fetch. Or I get to stifle a fetch. Swords to Plowshares. Am I fighting? I feel like I'm fighting. Like, I don't have very many ways to actually win the game. I need to make sure that I keep a way to win in play. I would not force this if I was a regular Delver deck. Alright, so they have the island that I knew about. Ragavan. Dash? I think I'll dash. Grab an Underground Sea. And dash. Like, my opponent has a good number of cantrips that I can just hit, and I'm trying to leave open a mana forever for this Stifle. Which means that the existence of the treasure token is even more useful than normal. Alright, so opponent goes to 17. The Lotus Petal. Yes, that puts me even further ahead on mana. Totally happy with that. That gets me a Surveil as well. Days... Days can go to graveyard. Still sitting on 3 card types, though. The monkey returns to my hand. I don't think I'm going to go with an end-step brainstorm or anything. Sure. I'll just hit for 1. Pyroblast was a great draw. Alright, another land from the opponent. I mean, you knew this was probably happening. New Dragon Rage Channeler? How do I feel about that? I kind of like it. If I send this one to graveyard, though the other one is big, I will send that into the graveyard accordingly. Alright, Stifle takes out that land. I think I don't dig for another Stifle in response here. Because, like, the Brainstorm has plenty of value as this game goes on. Alright. I think I just start with this. I think I just continue on this plan. 5 damage a turn is very respectable. Get in there, monkey. Tell me something good. What do we got? A show and tell. We're not gonna cast that one. That one can chill in exile. I will ponder. Days. I might be able to do better. Thoughtseize is way better. Yes. I will not shuffle my library. I will just take that back. And then... I guess I do this off a treasure. They theoretically could have something that cares about... I've inverted this, I guess. They could have something that cares about number of cards in their graveyard. A random Delve Threat or something. Okay. Their last card a land, then. That's the way that that play makes sense. Their last card is a land. Okay. Monkey, come on back. It's going to be very tempting to just be hyper aggressive with this Pyroblast and just hit, like, literally any cantrip. Alright, there's the city. Let's dash. Alright. Get in there. Oh, Cunning Wish. That's going to be a no from me. That is not allowed to happen. Not 100% sure what the Cunning Wish gets, but I know I do not want my opponent to have it. Alright. Now we have to try to do it again on the draw. Days did not really feel good on the play after my opponent mulliganed. It's going to feel worse on the draw, but these cards that I have access to are just kind of bad. So I don't know where that leaves me. Probably here. Okay, this is a highly disruptive hand. This is pretty good. I will need a threat to back up this disruption, but assuming we can get that, and can potentially win a game of Magic the Gathering. Our opponent does have 7 cards this time. That does make things a little harder. Be a fetching. Plains. Okay, they're just fetching around Stifle. The Dreadnought. That's not doing me any good right now. See what you got going on over there. Omniscience is coming. I think I just start off with Thoughtseize. Get to do it this turn and next turn, which is really strong. Okay. Oh. Well, while I was dragging that text box, I took Force of Will, which was clearly the correct take. No need to think about it. What would I have taken? You know what? Let's not put the brain power into it. More dazes. Alright, well, let's do this Thoughtseize thing again. Okay. My opponent has 2 Show and Tells. I have a Pyroblast for one of them. I could also just take the target and leave them with the Show and Tells. I could also just take Swords to Plowshares and hope to draw a Stifle, but that's a little... take a Show and Tell here. But, like, my position is terrible because this is a Phyrexian Dreadnought and not an actual threat that I can play out here. Like, if this was just, you know, a Delver or a Delver-ish threat, it's so good to just play that this turn, daze the Swords to Plowshares, or Force, and move on with my life. That's not where we're at. I'd also like to find another Thoughtseize or equivalent so that I can not die to, like, blue land like this. Well, I'm not going to die to this, but it could be a very awkward turn. So now my opponent is going to Orum's Chant. And so I need to counter this. I think I just go ahead and Force a Will it, and then leave myself with a Daze and a Pyroblast. rather than trying to daze it, because I want my opponent to go for it this turn, because I can beat it this turn. And I think if I just daze it, they just like don't go for it this turn under any circumstances. Oh, it looks like they are not going to go for it now. Oh, whatever. I got a like bonus City of Traders out of this deal. That's good for me. Get in there, Dragon Rage Channeler. Eat that Swords to Plowshares so the Dreadnought won't have to. Alright. Flooded Strand. Fetching. Throne of Stifle. Not even going to go for the Swords to Plowshares immediately. My upkeep. In my upkeep. That occurs. Cool. These are very good threats. Alright, opponent does nothing with their turn. I will try to salvage this hand. Does not do that. Put a Dreadnought and a land back. Need to play a land. Do I want to save this for a future brainstorm? I'm gonna just cast Thoughtseize here. Okay. Well, opponent was trying to wait to go with backup. I will take the show and tell. Left them with a hand that does nothing, and that's why it's absolutely great that I have a threat in play. Oh, shit. Alright. Opponent is passing. Alright, Bobble. 3 draw. Slowly. Opponent's Brainstorm is solid. Probably not something that gets cast immediately, though. Okay. I can attempt to deploy a threat now. Alright, yep, your Brainstorm happens. What's gonna suck is this Orum's chant can just be a counter spell effectively for my Phyrexian Dreadnought. Like, I dress down at the end step. And then my opponent can Orum's chant my turn. So the line instead would have to be something like Phyrexian Dread down, hold priority in response, cast Dread down, or dress down. There's also a world where the Orm chant gets shuffled away, but I don't think that's happening. Yeah, I think I have to do this on my turn, unfortunately. Alright. There's a land. This gets an Underground Sea. That way I have Kroxa mana. So I think I boarded out all the Kroxas. Alright. Roll, hold priority. Cast Phyrexian Dreadnought. Paying this mana. In response, cast Dress Down. I've gotten the full-on laugh from the opponent in chat. Told you my deck was bad. Okay, I've gotten a Stifle. Okay. I have like a counterspell and a half at my disposal. I am not sure if I am supposed to stifle a fetch land here. Well, I'm gonna daze that. Try not to die. See if opponent has a soul land, because that's what lets them still do the thing. They might just jam anyway. Getting the shit out of this land. Get it. Alright. Please draw more interaction. Nope, that's a land. Alright. Opponent's on a 1-turn clock. I have 1 counterspell. See if that's good enough. I've gotten the GGs. Ugh. We're 2-2. We have to do another round of this YouTube. Alright, final round. I'll keep this hand. It's not really great, but it's what I'm working with here. I think this is going to be a Volcanic Island into Dragon Rage Channeler, and we're going to look to either fuel Dragon Rage Channeler as quickly as possible, or just find a Stifle to make a Dreadnought. Either way is a potential path to victory, but like, naked Dragon Rage Channeler without a counterspell to protect it is a little eh. That's just going into the graveyard to be a sorcery in the graveyard, because I'll have 3 types as of this turn. Let's fire off this. We're looking at Plateau, which maybe likely means red-white painter. Alright, Mountain. Goblin Welder. I get to stop exactly one thing this game. Is that the one? Is this Brainstorm? Fuck, Goblin Welder. Dreadnought, Mishra's Bobble. God damn it. Fucking Dreadnought is going to be the death of me. I have to force this, otherwise my primary threat that I'm hoping to win the game with uh just gets welded out into a fucking bobble. Alright. Alright. Land. Dreadnought. Stifle. I have made the giant monster. Surveil. Ponder. Ponder's great. Alright. Let's crash in for 3. I do have 15 damage on board next turn. That's the good news. I'm living in fear of a goblin welder. Alright. Gonna attack. My opponent has a removal spell or anything. I'd rather find out about that and then resculpt accordingly. Alright, send them. Will it work? Will we randomly get abraded? Alright, looks like it works. I'm gonna go ahead and cast this off of Volcanic Island. See what I surveil. Sure. That's fine. I do not want that land. And I'll play Tarn and pass. My cards are on the table. They're both lethal. I guess it's still possible to maybe die. Weird things can happen when Lion's Eye Diamond is involved. Alright. Got game 1. I probably need Braids, Meltdown, Lightning Bolt. I don't think Daze is viable on the draw. We'll probably play the Pyroblasts. Like, once my opponent has a Painter, they're just Vindicates, which is somewhat useful. I can also think about Grafdigger's Cage. That only stops the creatures from coming back. That can be very important if my opponent has Ruin Grinder. The artifact creature that cycles. It's like a 7/6 menace or some bullshit like that. I don't know. I might need my own Kroxa more. Also, like, I don't know that I get to board out the dress downs because they can be a weird, awkward, temporary stopgap versus like a painter combo or something. I think. Or is this one of those situations where layers are fucky? Oh, this might be one of those situations where layers are fucky. God, Welder is so savage versus these dreadnoughts too. Like, do I board out my baubles, which are very good with my Dragon Rage channelers? Do I board out the dreadnoughts? Uh, just yikes. I could also just, you know, do I Plague Engineer on Goblin? Maybe I Plague Engineer on Goblin. Okay, that's reasonable. I can like go down one of these. I think I want all the dreadnoughts. Is it just the low hanging fruit of this? Maybe it's just the low hanging fruit like that. Is this an acceptable hand for this deck? It's a little disruptive. It leans so heavily on the brainstorm. I'm gonna mulligan this. Like, if I were a better deck, I'd keep this, but I'm not a better deck. And I think to win, I need to be doing something more broken. This qualifies. I'm gonna keep this and toss back the Dreadnought. We're gonna be on the Dragon Rage Channeler / Meltdown plan of this game. Alright, Ancient Tomb into Painter. Sure. I will bolt that on sight. Alright. Bloodstained Mire, fetch Volcanic Island, and destroy one target Painter's Servant. Alright, I'm getting a little lag as well. Urza Saga. Obviously that's quite good here. And now I get to play the game of, like, how much value do I want to try to extract out of this meltdown? And I think the answer is all the fucking value. All of it that exists in the world. There's a Stifle. That does stuff. I'm not sure how I am going to use this Stifle. I think I want to use it on the Chapter 3 Urza Saga ability. Actually, how does stifling those work? I don't actually know. Well, it's potentially a good time to learn. Under is fine. Let's try to make Dragon Rage Channeler into a big, because it cannot attack as a small. Pyroblast the Ponder. Okay, I mean, that happens. Ideally, I'll have a creature on top. A Force of Will on top. I don't think I want that. That goes into the graveyard. I will play a land and pass. Now, Urza Saga makes a construct. That's fine. Urza Saga does that. Okay, let's do some research. So, stifle on Saga's MTG. See what I can dig up. Saga's final chapter. Okay, 714.4. If the number of lore counters on a saga or permanent is greater than or equal to its final chapter number, and it isn't the source of a chapter ability that has triggered but not yet left the stack, that controller's... Okay, so I can stifle and stop this, and then get rid of the Urza Saga. Or rather, I can try. Alright, I get to Surveil and a Braid. Braid is good enough to at least leave on top of the library. I know Meltdown is going to clear out a lot of this stuff, but all sorts of weird things can happen here. Alright, it's a new Grindstone and a Lotus Petal. I am about to ruin SD Bob Pliskin's whole career. Alright, I will take 6. And I will draw that Meltdown. Or rather, I will draw the Abrade that's on top of my library. Okay. So destroy each artifact with mana value X or less. So 2 mana junks the whole board. Do I want to play this land? I think I want to play this land. It lets me hold up a Braid. Don't have a Meltdown, man. Dreadnought, I do not want that at this current time. Put that into my graveyard. Alright, that was sick. Now that also just puts enough card types into the graveyard that Dragon Rage Channeler attacks for 3. Is pretty huge. Okay. Like I have gotten another turn. Alright, we found a new Dreadnought. I do not want it. Bring the opponent down to 7. Imagine if this was a castable threat, though. Alright, new Ancient Tomb from the opponent. Which is not super good right now. There is an argument to just cast this Brainstorm right now. See if I find a Ragavan that I can dash and get more damage in this turn with. Alright, we're just getting Pyroblasted. No cantrips for Phil. I will 100% keep that on top of my library. That is just totally a reasonable card. Stops some of the Goblin Welder based lines, and if I don't like it, I can just fetch it away a little bit later as well. Alright, City of Traders into Goblin Welder. And I just drew that up perfectly, huh? Alright, so let's fetch. I still have Kroxa in my deck, so I'll go ahead and grab a Badlands. Go Plague Engineer on Goblin. And then crash in, bring my opponent to 1. This shuts off Ancient Tomb as a mana-producing land, notably. And I will have 2 different lethal threats next turn. My opponent has 1 card that they have to like answer both of these with. I think we salvaged this league. I literally don't believe that we 3-2'd. This was a miracle. Deck was bad. Like, I tried to fix it. I did not succeed. Like, the original version of this deck would have been utterly unplayable. Like, Urza Saga, Wasteland, Island not casting Kroxa is bad, and those same lands not casting all your other primary spells is just too much. And even when I smoothed out the mana base, like, Kroxa was still a just giant pain in the butt to get into play. Dress Down was very slow. This deck was bad. Like, scoreboard's okay, but my impression of this deck is terrible. I would abandon this archetype rather than try to fix it. And I don't say that very often, but like, Grixis Stiflenought is not playable. Don't do it. Don't put yourself through it. Like, move to a different color. Like, you can be doing all the same shit and be having Uro in your deck and be playing actual good Magic cards. Alright, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, click the like button. Hopefully you enjoyed watching me suffer a little bit throughout this league. Have a great rest of the day, folks. I'll be back tomorrow with something that does not have Kroxa in it.